All right, welcome back into the Doop podcast. I'm your host, Zero, and the Union are set to face FC Cincinnati in the MLS Conference, Eastern Conference semifinals coming up next weekend. But before we get into that, let's talk about the series against New England. Obviously, that round is a best of three now. Philadelphia sweeping New England 2-0, and surprisingly, because we were missing some players and we've had injuries and whatnot, but we still handled New England pretty well. That game too in New England was very good performance defensively. I thought they were just really they had a nice game plan from Jim Curtin from the start there, and it really flourished throughout the game. Damian Lowe was tremendous. Bedoya was tremendous on the defensive end. They really helped shut out New England and ultimately get a 1-0 win behind Chris Donovan's goal. So Chris Donovan is a player who hasn't been scoring much, but one thing you got to say this season is he scored big goals. He had a game winner in the regular season. He had a game winner in the Leagues Cup in the knockout rounds, and now he has a game winner in the playoffs to help us move on. So if there's one thing you can say about Chris Donovan is that he shows up in the big games, in the big moments. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but when he does, they're big goals right now, and that's huge. I really like his energy off the bench right now. He's really developing, because I think I might have criticized him before for not really scoring too much, which he still hasn't. He needs to still score more consistently and stuff, because he gets a decent amount of playing time, but he's definitely developing into a threat up there off the bench, and I really like him coming into the game and forcing defenses to pay attention to him, because he has a lot of speed and he's got a lot of skill for a bigger dude, and yeah, he can finish too. He can finish. So it's nice to see him getting some goals, getting big goals, and playing with a smile on his face, having a good time. How can you not like this kid right now? He's doing a good job. The team stepped up without Kai in the lineup. We'll talk about Kai Wagner in a moment. Again, we've been missing. Glesnes is out. Maybe the rest of the season. Could return if we make it to MLS Cup. Maybe. Flock's just coming back from injury. Martinez has been banged up. Carranza was out in that game, but Sullivan played a hell of a game in Game 2 against New England. Sullivan was amazing. He really drove the team forward, because guys like Gazdag and Ua were kind of quiet in that game. But Sullivan said, okay, I got you guys. And every time he got the ball, he was looking to attack the defense. And he was driving us forward. He was creating chances. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch, hands down. Really good performance from young Quinn Sullivan. Some of these young guys really stepping up. Jack McGlynn, Nathan Harriel had a hell of a series against New England, scoring a goal in the first game. He's really developed into that everyday right back, I think. Bizo came in Game 2 to slide over on the right side, while Nathan Harriel went over to the left side to cover for Kai Wagner's suspension. And Bizo did well as well, and just everybody stepping up. Jack Elliott, Blake doing his thing. Just a wonderful performance from the guys on the road there to see out that series and get some extra rest before the Cincinnati game. Cincinnati obviously going to be an incredibly tough test. The best team in the league, Supporters Shield winners. It's going to be in Cincinnati. There's no best of. It's just a one-off game. We're not going to have Wagner. We're not going to have Glesnes. That's two of our starting defense right there. Martinez is banged up. Carranza's banged up, but he should be back. And of course, Bedoya he's been battling some injuries this year as well. Flock just came back from injury. I don't know Martinez will be 100% either. But these guys are battling. There's one thing, we're in the mix every year for the past couple years, for sure. We're in this mix of the final couple teams. We just can't get over that hump and win that cup. This might be our last year to win a cup for a while, unfortunately, because we're probably going to lose Kai. We're probably going to lose who else are we going to lose? Maybe Carranza. Bizo might be out. Who knows who else we might end up selling too. So, Bedoya could be gone, either retire or sign another contract with another team. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because we've had this core for a while, and we've had these young players that have really been stepping up, and I'm sure some of them will be on their way out eventually. They're not going to stay here forever, but we've had a good run. Jim Curtin's kept us in the mix. Enough of these fire curtain, close the curtain hashtags. Like, we're not going to bring in a coach that's going to do a better job with this group. Not even close. You could sign any coach in the world, and they're not going to get this team, any more success than they've already had, honestly. Not this much of sustained success, anyways. Yes, we're not really winning trophies, but we're in the mix every year for like different trophies and for MLS Cup, and it's, you really can't go wrong with that. Yes, we all want the big one. We want the MLS Cup. I'm sure the players want that. I'm sure Jim Curtin wants that, of course. But just the fact that we're in the mix is so nice, because for a while we weren't. We were just a horrible franchise, building the wrong way and just being a complete waste. A waste of signings. We were signing terrible players. We were just not a good club for a long time. But lately we've definitely turned it around. Ernst Tanner has been a big part of that, and Jim Curtin's emergence as a head coach has really developed into something special, and it's been just the coach that we need, not only for this team but for this city. But let's change it up. Let's talk about Kai Wagner and his situation. It's a sad one. It's a frustrating one. It's a disappointing one. First off, I want to say there's no excuse for what he did. You can't do what he did. It's just wrong. I have no problem with the suspension. In fact, I think he should have been suspended longer. Using a racial slur is not good in any occasion. I don't think Kai is an awful person. I don't think he's a racist because he said something. I just think he was trying to say something to hurt him, to hurt somebody, a trash talk in another language, and just crossed the line. Because I think that happens with some players. They're not necessarily racist or whatever. They're just trying to say something to hurt the other player. And Kai crossed a line that you should not cross ever. And the league has every right to suspend him, fine him. And credit to Kai now. He's taking full responsibility for his actions. He's not trying to hide from it. He's not trying to deny anything. He's willing to get the help that he needs, but I'm just disappointed. He let down, the fans. He let down his teammates. He let down his family. He let down himself. Like, you're one of the best players, not only on our team but in the entire league, and you go and do something stupid like this to get yourself suspended. And that might be the end of his Union career. And if it is, well, that's a very sad one, because he's been an amazing player with us, the best left back in the league. And to do what he did is just inexcusable. So, there's nobody that's going to be taking his side in this situation. He just needs to, continue to own up to what he did, and just, when he comes back for either us or whatever team he plays for, whatever league, just play soccer and keep your mouth shut. Don't be doing stupid things anymore. Make amends for what you did. Like I said, I don't think he's a terrible person by any means. He seems like a pretty decent dude off the pitch from what I've seen with his family and everything. I think he's just a heat of the moment, stupid thing to try and hurt somebody, and it's just not right. Just not right at all. So that's how I feel in that situation. I could care less if he plays for the Union again or not. If he does, it might be for the MLS Cup, I think. He's been rumored to leave the team anyways after the season, but it's just a really bitter way to end his season, perhaps, here. I don't know. We'll see if the Union make the Cup, he might be able to play in that game, but we'll see. Yeah, just a sad situation. Just disappointed. Just really disappointed. Nobody should have to endure something like that for what he did to Bobby Wood. But anyways, what else? Oh, the Union signed a Danish midfielder, Sanders Ngabo. a young midfielder, 19 years old. Ernst Tanner seems to believe that he's going to fit well with our system and flourish here, which I got confidence in because they've made so many good signings over the past couple years that have come in and really fit the system and have done well and have developed into something. A player like Jesus Bueno, who at first wasn't playing much. When he did play, he didn't look that great, but this year Bueno has completely developed into a quality player, really stepped up. I think McGlynn's taken another notch forward. Harriel's taken another notch forward this year. Donovan, so it's just good to see some of these younger players taking those extra steps forward. Now, can they take more steps next year? That's the question. Can they take even more next year? But it's just wonderful to see that. And this kid that they've signed here, and Gabo, hopefully he'll develop into something special too. Hopefully they obviously see something in him that looks like it's going to be perfect for this team, for this club. So hopefully he will fill in nicely, and we're able to play him. Not till next year, he'll be coming. So I got my coffee. It's hard for me to start a day without coffee, guys. Unless I'm like getting up to go to work and I got like no time to make coffee, and I don't know, I find myself dragging a little bit, but on my off days like this, it's nice to sit down and have a cup of coffee, talk Union soccer for sure. The game against Cincinnati is gonna be tough. This is the without some of our guys, and some of our guys are banged up. We're on the road. We could definitely beat them. It's a winnable game for sure. The Union can beat anybody, but they have to be on their game. They can't be missing passes. They can't be turning it over at bad spots. They can't be, lacking communication on defense. Everybody has to play their best game. You can't have like an off game from a Damian Lowe, from a Jack Elliott, from a Bizo, from a Martinez, from a Gazdag. Gazdag needs to be involved from the beginning. I want to see him getting forward, getting some shots, getting Carranza, getting Ua going. Those are the guys that need to drive us forward. The Ua, the Carranza, Gazdag, Bizo, some of the veterans. Bedoya, of course. And with Bedoya, you always know you're going to get. He's going to step in there. He's going to play well. He's not going to be the goal scorer that he used to be. But he's getting a lot of assists this year. And his defensive work rate is still amazing. So, what you get from him. You know what you'll get from Blake usually. And, Jack Elliott's usually pretty consistent back there. That's the other guys that you kind of worry about. Jack McGlynn's been very good lately. Hopefully he'll have a game where he can kind of just dictate the tempo of the game. Martinez against Acosta, that should be fun. I want to see Martinez get in his face, get under his skin a little bit, and try to frustrate him. Because I think if we can frustrate him, we're going to take Cincinnati out of their game. They have a couple former Union players on their team. Ray Gaddis. Powell, I believe. Alvis Powell. Pat Noonan, the coach, of course, who's our former assistant coach. So Sergio Santos is over there. It's just like they're grabbing all these guys that we used to have. They're like trying to be us or something. I don't know what's going on with that club, but Cincinnati's got a good thing going on. But they're willing to spend the money. That's the thing. That team has gone out and spent a lot of money the past 2 years to try and build a team. Like, that's something I wish the Union would do more of, is spend more money on bigger players, but we don't do that. This franchise continues to be cheap, like signing these young players and homegrowns, and then eventually, maybe we'll sign a player like Ua or Gazdag or something. Glesnes, these guys for cheaper, but they don't work out. That's a big waste of our money, but luckily they tend to work out. We still need more from Ua. He did, I believe, did he score in the first playoff game? I think he did. I like the way he's playing in the playoffs so far. I think he's poised to hopefully have a big game here against Cincinnati. It'd be really nice to see him get on the scoreboard and be a big-time player here in a big moment. We need that right now. We need somebody to step up besides like a Gazdag or heck, a Chris Donovan right now, or Harriel's been stepping up. Hopefully Carranza will come in and do well. So most likely we'll have the usual lineup. I know without Wagner, I think we'll have Harriel and Bizo back in there with Lowe and Jack Elliott, and then Martinez, Bedoya, McGlynn, Gazdag, Ua, and Carranza. I'm guessing that will be the lineup with Blake and net, obviously. And then you got Quinn Sullivan, Bueno, Flock, Donovan off the bench if you want, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good bench. Even Baribo and who else we got on there? A few others. Matt Real. I think Baribo, hopefully he'll kind of flourish next season. He obviously hasn't scored yet since he signed with us. He's played some minutes, got some starts, but it is what it is. But yeah, it should be a tough game. Hopefully they win. I want to thank everybody for listening. Go Union. Let's beat Cincinnati, and I'll see y'all in the next podcast. Till next time, 0 is the number. Cheers, everybody.